You can talk all about it here with me, love.
That good satisfaction.
Let's debate on it, baby. Find a resolution right now.
Let's get it poppin' over here.
Let's get it going and going. What's the hot topic right now?
And let loose over here.
We can keep it going, talking politics on repeat. Share your story with me. Got Ronda Robinson on the line to speak. About to bring the heat. Hey.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? It's been a moment, right? Happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this another edition of Solutions with Ronda Robinson. And every time we get on here, we try to discuss solutions for our business owners and entrepreneurs and folks who are tuning into the show. Today's topic, we're talking about podcasts and how you can use podcasts as tools for marketing your business, your product, your service, your organization. We also have some nonprofits that reach out to us from time to time. So I'm really excited to get started, to dive in to our topic for today. So let's welcome in our guests who are joining us today. And thank you all so much for taking time out on a Sunday to hang out with us. So we invited Mitzi, Jarvis, and Vicky to join us on the show. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome. Thank y'all so much for joining us. I'd like to do a really quick roundtable discussion before we dive into our topic of the day. So we got a lot of current events going on, from the vaccine to the stimulus checks. People are talking about Meghan and Harry. What's on your mind? What's sticking out to you guys this week?
Yeah, well, the topic around my dinner table has been stimulus checks and getting them when they're coming in, what we're going to do with them. So that's been, but of course, Meghan and Harry, wow.
Awesome.
That's a lot.
What about you, Mitzi?
Well, I am in the thick of things at the ballpark this weekend. So I do apologize for the casualness, but I am at the ballpark today. So I've got the mom brain going on today. But Meghan and Harry, I'm like, girl, you should have just watched The Crown before you married into that family. That's all I've got to say. When I watched The Crown, I'm like, thank goodness I didn't get a prince,
It's what every little girl dreams of, and now everyone's like, oh, so glad I didn't go there. What about you, Jarvis?
Same thing with Vicky with these stimulus checks. Yeah.
I think everybody's like watching that inbox or watching the mailbox or watching their app on their phone to see if they have a direct deposit. Like, when's it gonna drop? Drop?
Well, I know somebody's got it because it people are out and about today. It is happening at the malls, on the roads. People are out.
Awesome. Well, real quick, as we get started here, let's go around and we'll start with Mitzi. Give us a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll dive into the topic of podcasts as marketing tools today.
Okay, so when I am not at the ballpark on the weekends during the week, I have a business called Mitzi J Media, where I just help business owners, medium-sized, privately owned business owners, really to define their brand, to clarify their target market, and then create messaging to connect the two. And that's what I do during the week. I have an office in Homewood that I call the Dreamport, because that's just a place where people come and dream, and they put some feet to those dreams and make it a reality. So that's me, Mitzi Aker.
All right, Vicky.
Well, thank you for having me today. I'm Vicki Morris. I'm founder of Face to Face Marketing, and we are a full service marketing and communications company. My team and I develop data-driven analytical approaches to devise the ideal content messaging mix for the clients that we serve. So basically helping them figure out their communication strategy and making sure that their offer aligns with the audience they're trying to reach, and figuring out what is the best method to do that. Whether it be podcasts, whether it be websites, whether it be social media, whether it be public relations, or some mix of all of them. We're also branching into doing some group coaching and consulting and doing some online courses. So all kinds of things to help our clients and our community that we serve fine tune their messaging and get it to the people they most want to work with.
Awesome. Jarvis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jarvis Scott, and I'm president of First Impressions Marketing Group. But I also own What's Happening in Birmingham. Been in business since 2007. Man, I feel like 2007 was a long time ago. And everything. But no, pretty much everybody on the panel, either by face or seeing your work online. So looking forward to the discussion today.
Awesome. And everyone on the panel has a special place in my heart. So I just love having this dialogue and being able to chat about some things. We had a fun chat Friday on Clubhouse. And so we're just kind of continuing the chat for the Facebook and YouTube followers. So let's dive in here and talk about in general. So we're starting out ground zero for folks who are just learning about podcasts. Why do you think, you guys, that these are good marketing tools? And you can jump in.
Well, what I was going to say is that I think it, with podcasts, especially video podcasts, I think it has longer use as far as content wise, because like a social media post is only good for that day or really that hour, because things change differently. Even if you send an email message out, people only may look at it within the first 24, 48 hours and it might get to pile in the bottom of their inbox.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like, podcasts now has that long term use that even if you don't look at it now, you look at it 6 months or 2 years down the road.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's a great tool because the way I consume podcasts, I will find a topic that I am particularly interested in researching and find people that I'm wanting to follow their expertise. And I will binge a podcast. I will find all of the different topics that relate to what I'm experiencing right now. And it may have been a podcast on content that they put out 6 months ago. But if it's relevant to what I'm doing right now, it's great content. And then you're having the show notes and someone who is really organized with their podcast and has a clear path with it. It offers me immediate value. And that's something that in terms of a communication strategy, man, that's the bullseye. That hits so many marks. And so I think it's a tool, and I am having a refreshed interest in podcasts. I am not the girl that listens to talk radio. I am not the girl that was interested in podcasts until I had a renewed interest, and thank you, pandemic, for that.
I know, right?
But so I think it's a great asset for us personally and for us to encourage the clients that we serve, because if you've got great content, this is an exceptional medium to put that content out, and it's digestible. I can listen to a podcast while I'm getting ready in the morning. I can, do so many different things with it as I'm cooking dinner, as I'm just winding down from all of the done for you things and working in my business. I can sit back and, kind of contemplate how I'm going to work on my business. So yeah, I wholeheartedly love the idea of a podcast.
Awesome. What do you think, Mitzi?
It is just a great way to really support your brand. If you're an influencer or you're expert in the area, it's a great way to highlight what you know and talk to your target market. And you may be thinking, well, I can't do that because I don't have the voice, I don't have the intelligence, I just don't. You can name off all the reasons why you shouldn't. But if you're going to reach your target market, it's a good way to kind of bump them out of your funnel anyway, because if they don't relate to you, when they hear your voice and and relate to what you're saying, they're probably not your target market anyway. So it is a great way to really establish your brand online and create some great content. And plus, podcasting is rather easy to edit. And if you do it, sometimes you don't even have to edit it, just to start out, just to get something started. But it's just a great medium to really highlight your expertise.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk more about content and equipment and just getting started. Right after this quick break, we're going to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll return and talk more with our panel of experts. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So I want to encourage people, if you are checking out our show today, we're talking about using podcasts to market your products, your services, your business. And I want to encourage you, if you're just starting out, just considering a podcast, really drill down, think about who you are and define what your product or service or your message will be, okay? All of us, we're all unique in our own way. So what makes you unique? What story do you want to tell? And also, once you are clear on who you are and what you want to get out to the masses, then you can drill down on who your audience is, so who you want to speak to. So I want to talk with the panel here about, once people are clear as to who they are and who they're speaking to, how do you create that content? How do you get the equipment that you need in order to start these podcasts?
Well, I'll say I have recently purchased a podcast mic.
Okay.
Getting that mic ready. I actively research once a month different podcasts and different platforms that I can be a guest on, as I'm also looking for guests on my webinars. One of the things that I quickly realized is I need a podcast mic. So having that, I invested in AirPods, some really quality earphones, so that I can eliminate that feedback loop, at least to some extent. And I have a ring light. I have a light right over my camera on my computer, and I have a light off to the side for me as well, because every now and then there's something where I have to be on camera and I need to be lit. The way I have my office set up, my window is behind me. That's a very big no-no. But I just don't have the time to rearrange my office right now. So we got lights in place to get that done. So having that equipment definitely, I think, is a huge plus, because what we talked about on Clubhouse, if you sound awful. Especially on a podcast, nobody's going to listen to you. Nobody's going to want to engage with you. So the quality of your voice needs to be great, and your lighting needs to be good. If I don't have these lights, I'm going to look washed out or look really dark, and everything is going to focus on that window behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So taking a little bit of time to figure those few things out, and the content. I've been doing this since as a business since 2015, but just in general for 20 years or more. So I have a tremendous amount of content. Just narrowing that content down into pillars is going to help me be more organized so that my audience will be able to easily digest and implement the information and expertise that I'm able to offer them.
What are your thoughts, Jarvis? You've been in this podcast world for a long time.
Yeah, I guess I'm more on like the video side of it, but I guess the video side, I always tell people, yeah, like make sure you get a good mic. Like I started off with video, Rode mic me with something you can stick in, which was good, and a couple trusty tripods is good. But the biggest thing I did was make sure you found like a video editing program, and I use like CyberLink Power Director, which is like $12, like $4 a month, pretty much. You can edit your videos, put your titles and graphics and all that on there.
Okay. What about you, Missy?
So I had a snowball mic in the beginning, maybe a $50 one. I started with that. And then recently, about a year ago, I went to the music store and talked to the guy there, and he set me up with a system so I can do interviews and all kinds of things. So what I would say is think about your target market. If your target market, what are they used to listening to and the quality? Because like I would say, I'm probably medium professional. I don't have to be broadcast quality, like high end, like something you would see on the news. But then my target market expects a little bit more than me just getting on my phone and using this. So think about your target market. How professional do you need to be? And then spend that money to reach your target market and be as professional as they expect. And so I know you guys would be great resources. Your local music store, people come in there to do podcasting so they can help you find the equipment you need. I use Audacity. It is a free software that you can download, and even I can use it, and I'm not a very good editor, but it's easy enough with probably 2 or 3 hours online learning how to do it. You can do it yourself. And I've heard you guys talk about Anchor. That sounds like a great one for people that are just starting out, an easy barrier to entry on that one. And I will say, if you are going to do videos, and I've got a ring light here that keeps going out. I don't know what's going on. But ring lights, ladies, if you are a lady, it takes like years off the wrinkle. So I am a big ring light fan. You can get it for your phone too, but I've got a huge one in my office that I use anytime I'm on. And just play with that lighting if you're going to do videos, because lighting does make a difference.
So all of the panelists here, including Carmine Communications, we all can produce podcasts for customers. So if you are watching this and you feel like this is a bit overwhelming, or you just don't have the time, anyone on this panel, including my company, we can do it for you and take that off your plate. But for those of you who are curious about it and want to try it, I say go for it. I started with the Anchor app. There's the Podbean app. If you want to step it up a notch, you can check out Activate. That's a pretty good app for podcasts. I say just kind of play around with a lot of different apps if you're interested in doing it yourself. Same with the equipment. Play around with different microphones, different tripods, different forms of lighting, and you'll figure out what works for you and your audience, what you're comfortable with, and what you think looks good and sounds good. So there's not an exact, box here for this process, because everybody's different and everyone has different tastes. So I want to talk with the panel real quick here about planning that content, because that can be overwhelming as well for someone who's just starting out. So what are your thoughts, guys, on how you plan that out? Do you take like 2 hours on a Sunday and plan a whole month? Do you guys do it every day? How do you guys plan your content?
I'll go. I'll go. So,
Okay.
with my clients, what we do is we have like a content strategy planning meeting. So we brainstorm content. And usually I have them, this is one thing I do with my clients with any content, whether it be blogging, podcast, or video, is I have them list out like 100 potential things that they can do. And then we take those down to about 10 solid things that they're really experts on, and kind of create a series from that. And then we would batch create that, and I would have them like write out either an outline. Some people, they would rather write out word for word what they're going to say, and others would rather do an outline. So we do that process, but I don't let them use the word for word, because if they do use the word for word, they're just going to read it if they have it in front of them. So we do have a process that we take them through to get that content, so that they're not struggling with that content, and come up with 10 different things, and then batch create two sessions. If they're really good at speaking, you can do more sessions within a day, but for a lot of people, 2 to 3 is the max you're going to get out of them before they kind of wear out. And then try to batch create that, and go ahead and have 3 or 4 in the hopper, if not all of them in the hopper, before we even launch. So that way we have a whole series. We can go live with the series. They're not backing out in the middle of the series, or, we don't have 2 out there and then they're like, this isn't for me, I can't create the content. So that's what I do with my clients, just to make sure that they are consistent and we actually get a series through with them.
Okay. And Jarvis, your situation is a little different. You kind of interview your clients. And so it's kind of like an interview that they get to keep and put it on their website and share it on social media, right?
Yes, and thing I've been trying to do now is with some interviews, like typically, like some of my interviews run from like 10 to 15 minutes. So I've been trying to split up the interviews in individual clips, where that way I can get the best of both worlds sometimes,
Okay. So yeah,
especially
you
with
can
video
spread
content.
out.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of content out of one interview. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. What about you, Vicky? How's your content creating process?
Well, that's a lot of the same things. Creating content around pillars.
Okay.
When I'm talking from my own standpoint, my level, my areas of expertise, it's around a content pillar, whatever is most relevant to the audience that I'm speaking with. I have a couple of networking groups, one that I operate in North Alabama, and then another one where I'm doing webinars for SCORE. And it's basically kind of like a podcast format where I'm interviewing experts in different areas where they can be helpful to the audience that is watching. So my whole plan is to take that audio from those interviews and turn those into podcasts, but it's centered around a specific content. Like Rhonda, when you were on, we were talking about crisis communication and the importance of having a communication strategy in place. So it's around that idea of content for how you get fundamentals in place for your business, things that you need to have in place for your business. So when I'm working with clients, when we're talking about their communication strategy, whether it's going to be their website, their social media, their blog, or a newspaper article, or even that podcast, it's going to be centered in their 3 to 5 areas of content that they are most expert in. If they have more, great, but 9 times out of 10, it can fit into 3 to 5, and it helps keep them very focused and not, squirrel.
Yeah, that's the challenge, narrowing that focus.
Yes.
We're going to take one more break here, and then we'll have final thoughts from our panelists, and we'll also get their contact information, so you have opportunity to reach out to them if you have questions or if you need to hire them for their services. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back in, you guys. We have our final break here where we'll kind of chat a little bit about, what we discussed during this 30-minute show. We wanted to keep it short and sweet because it is such a beautiful day. I want you guys to get back out there and enjoy this beautiful day. But before we go, let's chat a little bit about these final thoughts here you want to leave our audience with so that they can kind of hit the ground running once they finish watching this show. We want to encourage those of you who are interested in starting your own podcast to try it, and those who are not interested at all, maybe you're not technically savvy, maybe you just don't have the time, you can hire my company, Carmine Communications, or one of our panelists to help you out. So recapping what we've talked about so far, we talked about the importance of defining who you are, focusing on exactly what you want that topic to be about, defining who your audience is. We talked about the importance of equipment, and then we also talked some about content creation. So before we wrap up here today, guys, talk to us about platforms you like or any other final thoughts you want to leave the audience with. And we'll start with Vicki.
Okay, well, my final thoughts. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Great getting to know our other guests on the panel today. But in closing, I do want to encourage people to try it out. If you are in business and you're doing well, you've got clients, trust in your expertise. You have something to share. Podcasting is having a resurgence of interest now. This is a platform that is worth trying, and it's so easy. The barriers to entry are so easy there, and so many free tools. Just try it out. Figure out your content, what your message is, who your audience is, and once you have those two things, go for it. Take a risk, take a chance, and you will be surprised at how beneficial this platform can be for you. Yeah, so if people want to, you're going to give us a contact info, or do we need to do that later?
No, go ahead. I'd love to get your contact information,
Okay.
Your phone number, all of that good stuff.
Okay, so my name is Vicki Morris, and I can be reached at Vicki, Vicki, at face-to-face-marketing.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So I love to connect with you if you have a question, and we've got some great things all in an effort to help our clients and our new clients effectively communicate their message to their target audience.
Awesome. Jarvis, how can we reach you? And give us some final thoughts here.
Well, Rhonda, thank you for the opportunity again. Also, me and you ladies as well. If anybody want to contact me, they can give me a call at 205-538-4508, or follow me on What's Happening Birmingham on Facebook, on Instagram, also on Twitter, and also my personal handles. One thing I would tell people, just start somewhere. Don't worry about how your video looks when first. If you have to start with a tripod and eventually get yourself to a video camera, I think it's better if you just try, because that way people can see the growth as you get more in updated equipment and technology and things like that.
Perfect. I agree. What about you, Mitzi? Final thoughts, and share with us how we can reach you. I think you're muted. Are you muted?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my phone ran hot and it just shut down. So that's one good thing about a podcast. You don't have to worry about that happening. You can just record it, edit it, and then put it up, and it's there. But thank you so much, Rhonda, for having me. I just want to say, if you are thinking about doing a podcast, just do it. Get on Clubhouse, start using your voice, start speaking up, start becoming confident. Hire Rhonda. I said in our Clubhouse interview, she helped me with a debate that I had to get on and do. And with just 1 hour with Rhonda, she gave me the confidence and the clarity, and I got up there and I killed it and I did great. And so, if you're lacking the confidence and even myself as a professional, that's what I do with my clients. And I need that for myself. I just need a cheerleader behind me saying, yes, you can do this. I know you can. You're the expert in this. Just do it. So if you lack the confidence, just hire somebody to get you to do that. Or like Vicki, she knows how to do the content so well. If you're like, well, I've got the ideas, I'm just not confident in the content, then get Vicki, or maybe Jarvis has the kind of show you want. Another thing, like I said, it's not against the rules to find somebody you really like out there and mimic what they're doing, because your content's going to be different. I mean, don't like copy them completely, but you can mimic what they're doing, because your content is going to come out different because it's you talking to different people. One thing we didn't talk about is how long it needs to be. And I think that goes back to your target market. How long are they going to actually listen? So that's something very important. It may be you're just doing 1 to 3 minutes. I would never do a 30-minute podcast just starting out, because that's a lot of time you're trying to fill. So think about your target market. How long are they going to listen, and then plan accordingly. If you want to reach out to me, again, Mitzi J Media, you can find that online at mitzyjmedia.com. You can find me at mitzyjmedia@gmail. Just email me if you have questions. And you can find me on Clubhouse and LinkedIn. So that's where you can find me. Thank you, Rhonda, for inviting me.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the shout out, Mitzi. I really, really do. But Mitzi brought up a really good point about the timing of your podcast. You do want to consider the fact that you may not want to have a long podcast just starting out, because it's not easy to fill 30 minutes or an hour. So start out with a minute or two until you feel comfortable and you can build up to that. And then pay attention to your audience, because your audience may start to leave after a certain amount of time. And that shows you that, okay, my audience only has an attention span of, say, 5 minutes. So you only want to keep it at about 5 minutes or so. So play around with the timing. Get a time that you're comfortable with. Start out short in the beginning. Build up your comfort level, your confidence, and also make sure your content, as you create it, that it's evergreen, something that will last. So you don't want to create a show that is very specific to an incident that may not be relevant in December or 2 weeks from now. All right, you can reach me at Carmine Communications at all times on all social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse. Reach out. I'm happy to help. And anyone on my panel here, they're happy to help you as well. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you to my panel. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time on Solutions.
Shouldn't even be an option. Then let's sit on the subject and talk all about it here with me, love. That good satisfaction.